Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mars coming at you over the interwaves with another Starcraft 2 cast. This one a PvZ on Dusk Towers, and unlike the last game I cast, this is a 1v1, which means I know what I'm doing! Very excited, very excited. We have on this side Ulises. Sort of, maybe. If I recall correctly, that's actually spelled differently, but close enough. Over this side we have Maccabe, who also thinks that Ulises is a good, cool name. Now, Ulises is with double L and a Y, isn't it? I don't know. And Maccabe, Maccabe, maybe. I was thinking maybe Maccabe, but apparently not. Anyway, is this the right speed? Weird. Yeah, this is the right speed. Anyway, we have... Okay, what are you doing here? We have a Nexus first for Maccabe, and we've got a spawning pool first for Ulises, who is of the Italian-Spanish speaking persuasion, having answered that question with C, I guess. Are there more languages out there that you see? Portuguese, maybe.
French in some circumstances.
Some French people, apparently. Anyway, so fairly standard, he said, as a forge was being warped in so far, as Ulises does scout what Maccabe is up to, and Maccabe does see what Ulises is up to. Blocks that pocket natural, but is about to find out that the second base has been taken as this one has in fact been taken as the natural of choice for Ulises, who is floating a lot of money. This is a well, I'm bad at this. This is a diamond game, maybe. I don't know. You look at those little portrait thingies and you see the different colors, and I suck at colors, so. You know, Diamond, Master, maybe. I don't know. Green League. This is Green League. This is definitely Green League. So, we have... Not a lot of gas yet. So we have no zergling speed coming up. And... building 2 queens over on this side. In the meantime, is... Cave doing anything interesting? Well, he's getting a cannon for defense of that third. And one drone is merrily smashing in its head or claws thingies. Taking down 5 health at a time. You go, drone. In the meantime, Maccabe is going to sort of wall off over here. There are 2 different ways of walling up on Dusk Towers. There's over here, and then there's sort of from here to there, meaning you can still move here. It's a shorter wall. Your opening will be over there, which is the only thing you really have to defend against melee units. Zerg doesn't just have melee units, though. They also have Hydras and Roaches, and they can, you know, bust this down. And depending on the range, you can, you know, shoot from the other, the safe side. Yeah, these things sort of depends. Ulises finally getting the metabolic boost, and at the same time getting some roaches. No layer being taken yet. Does have enough gas for it, or will pretty soon. And we have a Stargate and a Robo coming in for on the wall. Well, this is debatable, I suppose. Some people like to have it back because these are the buildings that tend to get hit by stuff. On the other hand, rather than, you know, in contrast to pretty much all the other units from the Protoss, things actually come out of the Robogate rather than, you know, warping in to thin air due to magic and Protoss. So people do tend to do this. There he goes. Oh, second robo in order to finish the wall. And we have slow march coming in over here. And what does the Protoss have to counteract this? We have a Mothership Core and we have a Zealot. And cannons. We have cannons. But to counteract the cannons, we have Ravagers. So let's see what the Zerg can accomplish. And we've got the Zealot having moved out, not having been put on hold position. The photon overcharge does do quite a bit of damage, but all the cannons are taken out. And here's the last pylon. Yes, indeed, it does get taken out. And now this pylon gets on towers as well. And the wall is forfeit. With another group of Zerglings moving in, Ulises is free to move to the main base of his opponent. Free to devastate the mineral line if he so chooses, but instead is going to try and just break this. Ah, look at that hold position macro, very nice. So he takes down the Stargate and loses pretty much his entire attacking force for that. That is probably not what he was hoping for. And with the other photon overcharge, but Ulises does move out, and there goes your Mothership Core. One Stalker is enough to clean this up, however, and now additional Zerglings do come into this third and actually do manage to inflict some worker damage. We have lost 8 workers. More roaches and more hold position macro, keeping this Stalker alive, so that's very nicely done. But just all those workers going down, 17, 18, 20, 21, and there goes that Stalker, and just in time for the next Stalker to be moved in, as Ulises tried... Hello? Okay. As Ulises takes out this pylon once again. There's no speed yet. Has he built a lair yet? No, and only just now taking his third. So that was... well, that needed to do damage. Now it did do damage, but did it do enough damage? This time walling in all the way over here. You may want to build a second layer of pylons. You certainly have enough money for it. And here comes phase 2 of the attack of Ulises. Now both of these players floating quite a bit of money. So Maccabe free to warp in a whole bunch of zealots because he has no gas, and Ulises free to build a whole bunch of Zerglings if he injected properly, which, judging by the energy on the queens, he did not. So now, now we have a lot more equal fight on our hands. Last time that Ulises attacked, the opponent had to army attack, but in this case his opponent is nice enough to move out onto the map to allow himself to get surrounded by the Zerg, meaning it's still a fairly successful attack for the Zerg, and he moves in before the photon cannon is in fact done and does take out another number of probes. But once again the onslaught is halted. How many workers are we lost now? 27? However, Maccabe still has more workers than his opponent has. And now microing his immortal, which is pretty easy to do if that's the only unit you actually have. Wait, it says you have 13 army supply. If that's true, then what do you have? A 13 army supply? How many army supply is an immortal? Okay, well, I don't know. 45 workers versus 30. We do now have the third base up, and another round of attack with a pylon in place with a very nice force field to keep the Zerglings out, and another bunch of Ravager shots. This one to take out. I did not see where those landed. It could have been used to take out the force fields, but instead having taken out something else, I suppose. And he once again breaks the Protoss's base. And he's going to take out quite a few workers again, does he? No, instead taking out a robotics bay and just making sure that he keeps the Protoss back as he slowly demolishes that wall. This does greatly hinder the Protoss, especially if you were to be, you know, making lots of Zerglings, which he sort of is. Because you gotta remake that, and you can't really come out and play if your opponent is out here with, you know, an army. Oh, you wanna... Oh! Corrosive biled his own units there. That was very unfortunate. If that was a little bit closer, that would have been spectacular corrosive bile by Ulises, but in fact he kills his own units. And now with both barriers having been triggered, can he kill these immortals? He can take one. Oh no, it came off cooldown, and there's another barrier for that immortal. I don't know if he's got it on autocast. Yes, it does appear he does. And now with 3 immortals, Ulises is in a bit of trouble. Ulises did equal the worker tab 42 kill, bloody hell. As it is now 33 against 36. Workers once again, as this wall gets rebuilt. This time we're not just taking units that, or we're not just building buildings that tank, we're building buildings that shoot back. But both cannons do get cancelled. As nope, Maccabe does. Oh no, he actually manages to go back too far. Doesn't manage to choke up and lets these Zerglings in. 1 immortal goes down, and 2 of them are still standing, and there's a new 3rd immortal. I mean, and as long as these guys get a chance to reset that barrier, then those just don't die. They're not as strong as they used to be, but they're still pretty formidable opponents. Just putting in a drone here and there in between the attacks of the Zerg, and he did get 1-1, whereas the Protoss is only now getting his first attack upgrade, and he's ready to get DTs. Hasn't gotten any yet. Hasn't been over to his opponent's side of the map in a while, and there are spore crawlers in all but this base. Is he going to build a warp prison? No, he does not. And Ulises is back. The mothership is in place for photon overcharge, and he is perfectly content to let those wail away at this, and he's using his immortals to buffer the Zerglings, which isn't optimal. And Ulises does in fact have an overseer in place to take care of these DTs, and he has more than enough heads up to take appropriate actions at home. No, he doesn't chase. Maccabe content to keep defending. He's got the Dark Shrine, and he has the Templar's Archive going for Storm even. And moving 2 Archons, thinking that at the level they're playing at, his opponent sure would be silly to not have any detection in place. And in fact, the attack by Ulises was already covered by an overseer, so that would be an apt assessment. Right. So, I suppose we can use this lull as Ulises takes his 4th to talk about Dusk Towers, which is normally a macro map. Generally. Ulises does get his 2nd Carapace, but not getting the 2nd attack, and hasn't built his Infestor layer tab thingy. Yeah, can't see that. It's Infestor thingy with the Infestor. The thingy where you get Infestors. That thing. To move up to Hive. 70 army supply. Mostly roaches though. And there goes that second attack. So his opponent will be a little bit ahead with the second attack over his own, but the Zerg does have armor to go against that. Oh, that's going to be a lot of Storm. Now, Storm doesn't deal too well with roaches. I mean, it hurts. But Zerglings and Hydras absolutely melt. We've got creep spread slowly becoming a thing. And, well, get a little bit better at his injections. But he does see a fair bit of the map. Look, it's got one here, it's got one here, it's got one here, it's got one here. Could do with putting this one slightly closer, but maybe he'll see probes going back and forth here as soon as it's done. The Oracle here used for scouting. Do we have an observer as well? Well, must be, because we're killing stuff. And forcing that fourth to be evacuated. Seriously, where's the observer? Where are you? I can't see you. And there goes that fourth with Ulises staying in his base despite the superior army supply, not wanting to go out and, oh, are you going to get this trapped? No, he engages with the other half of his army, does get stormed, and that's where you really want to have the storms on those Hydras, as Hydras absolutely melt as Ulises pulls back from this army that just keeps storming. And how many storms does that guy have? He must be wondering, well, quite a few. I didn't count exactly how many High Templars he had. He's only got the one left now. Doesn't have enough army to keep pushing through, but that did cost him that fourth base. In the meantime, Maccabe's fourth base is still there, and his opponent does not know. As soon as he transferred these over there, maybe he will. And this bruised and battered army does move to his opponent's side of the map, trying to see if he can do anything to ward off Maccabe. That's one pylon that gets destroyed for free. That's a lot of changelings. Alright. Yep, those have to be manually targeted. There we go. 3 more. 1 more. There you go. And Ulises setting up for a flank. Now, how many photon overcharges do we have? About 3, so that should worry Ulises some. And there goes that storm again. Oh, it does tag that army. It must be kind of like he surely has more. And here comes the flank. Here comes the flank, and both sides of the flank do get stormed as Ulises all gets, well, pretty much chewed up. Retakes his fourth base, getting Burrow. Still hasn't built a hive, so he can't go to 3-3 or to, say, Ultralisks or something. Now he does know where that fourth base is there. And, Maccabe finally moves his probe to stand next to his Nexus. Not the optimal way to do it, but there you go. And I'm surprised that Maccabe hasn't sent in any DTs. Like not walking straight up, I get that, but you know, build War Prism. As Maccabe seems to be supply blocked here. We've got how many? Oh, 8. Wow. 8 High Templar. That's going to be some bad weather right there. As he moves out, takes his 5th. He must be telling himself, I'm in a fabulous position. Why should I need to move out? Just take a 4th. Keep defending. Make sure my opponent is on just 4 bases, although he now probably thinks 3. Checking out that high ground, very good against any lurkers or something. And lurkers are indeed a possibility coming up soon. Look at that changeling. Tracking that army, going like, yeah, no, I'm totally one of you guys. Don't worry. I am not a weird pile of goo that can rapidly change form. I am totally a zealot like you. So being on creep and with this changeling in his army, Ulises knows everything that his opponent is up to. He hasn't tried to reconnect this creep, by the way. As well does he know that this base is being taken. Not having taken this base, although he's about to do so, he certainly should try and do something about it before his opponent is just made of money. Taking this base, taking this base, yep, double expand, might as well, considering the money's floating right here. And yeah, there is that war prison. Where are you planning to go with the army? Okay, just to reinforce, not to backstab or anything. Ulises does see this happening and moves his army in place. You want to burrow those lurkers. Oh, wow, that's, yep. That's another thing that those High Templars are good for. They won't kill lurkers, but they do damage them without really. My preferred approach to this is the disruptor, but this does work. Doing some free damage, and as he walks right into a bunch of those storms and gets stasis wards, which luckily for this particular roach also protects against storm, as he slowly leapfrogs those lurkers. But if we look at the army size, we've got 94 for the Zerg, as we have 119 for the Protoss. But now with this base up and with this base up, has he moved in a hive? No, he has not, because he doesn't have an infestation pit, so he's still on 2-2. And an engagement right here, and storms just blanket all of that as Ulises' army just melts. And there is that more person in place to just resupply, and Ulises doesn't even need to see the giant warping of zealots. He says GG, and Maccabe very gentlemanly returns the thing with the GG, and then nobody steps out of the game, which is odd because that generally happens after the GG. Maybe Ulises is like, I have a shot, I totally have a shot. No, Ulises, you do not. But a good game by Maccabe.